Hello, friends. Something followed me home. Moving into a new place can be an exciting and nerve-wracking experience. You're starting fresh in a new space, and it comes with a whole lot of change. But one thing I always try to do is bring a few familiar objects or trinkets to help me settle in faster. This is actually quite common as it helps us feel more at home and comfortable in a new environment. When I moved to my current place, I brought along a couple of blankets that smelled like my old roommate. Yeah, we all have our quirks. Ever since then, my cats have claimed them as their own. They like to sleep on them, and they like to groom themselves on them. One of the blankets is especially popular, but now I never sleep on it because I'm afraid I might end up covered in cat hair. So I keep it solely for my cats now. The other blanket has some spots where the fabric has worn down over time. So if you look closely, you can see some bald patches on the underside of the blanket from where my cats have been sleeping and grooming themselves on it. It's okay, I don't mind. I know how much they love it. I've had this blanket for a few years now, and I have unwashed it since I moved in. That's probably not too surprising considering how little I wash my bedding. But when I went to fold it recently, I found something that was hiding underneath. If you think you can guess what it is, go ahead and leave your guess in a comment. A few weeks ago, I finally got around to washing the blanket. I put it in the washer with some detergent, but I didn't use any fabric softener because I don't like how it makes the blanket feel. When I opened the washer after the cycle finished, though, I could tell something wasn't right. The blanket looked very small, like it had shrunk in the wash. I felt something poking through the holes of the laundry bag. And when I reached inside to try to grab whatever it was, my fingers brushed against something hard. Whatever it was, it had a rounded bottom and was flat on the top like a disc. I pulled it out and turned it over in my hands. It was a rock. I turned the rock over in my hands and looked it over, but I couldn't see any writing or markings on it. It was just a smooth gray rock. I took the blanket outside and shook it over my grass to get rid of any excess water. Then I hung it back up on my clothesline to dry. I never leave these kinds of things in my washer for long, because I do not want mildew to grow on them. So I was surprised to find a rock in there. I don't really know how it happened. Maybe it was in my pocket, or maybe it was stuck to the bottom of the blanket from being outside so much. But I never noticed it before, and I don't know how long it'd been in there for. Now, I don't want to make too much of this rock.
Ash!
It's just a plain gray rock. I'm sure there are plenty of them in my yard. In fact, there are some rocks near my clothesline that are just about the same size and color as this one. So why did I make such a big deal over it? Well, if you've seen my videos before, you probably know that I live with several cats. My cats tend to visit the yard regularly, especially in the mornings when the sun first starts to come up. That's when they like to bask in the sunlight. They also like to bury their poop in the yard, which is pretty disgusting, but it is what it is. So my cats are often out here, but that doesn't mean that they're always in the yard. When I let them outside, I usually open the back door and they head straight out to the deck. Sometimes they decide to go further, but most of the time, they stay out here. My yard isn't fully fenced in, but there's a row of bushes along the property line that act as a barrier. The bushes are tall enough that if my cats were to walk behind them, they'd be safe from the neighbor's dogs. But unless they were being chased by something, I don't think my cats would ever try to do that. They aren't stupid. The neighbor's dogs are big and scary. There's another reason why I think the rock was in my pocket or stuck to the bottom of the blanket either. When I was outside earlier, I didn't only check this rock. I also flipped over every rock near the clothesline and even walked barefoot through the grass. I wanted to make sure nothing was crawling on me or living in my grass, and I didn't see anything. There weren't any bugs or reptiles or amphibians. I didn't even see any field mice, which is weird because we've had a ton of baby mice in the house lately. So why does this plain gray rock have me so freaked out? Well, because I think it may have followed my cats into the house. Now I do mean that in the sense that it crawled on my cats while they were outside and then they brought it in with them. I honestly think it crawled off the ground and onto my blanket intentionally. Rocks don't just move on their own. People move rocks. Animals move rocks. Sometimes I move rocks when I'm gardening, but no one else lives in my yard except for whatever critters are visiting. If something managed to crawl onto my blanket while it was outside, it would have had to climb over the clothesline too. And I know it sounds silly, but I think this thing did. I don't know what it is, but it seems determined to follow my cats inside. Maybe it was attracted to the smell of them, or maybe it was trying to escape the heat. Either way, I think it knew exactly where it was going. The worst part is, I have no idea what it is. It looks like a polished river rock, but I don't live anywhere near a river or in the middle of a forest. So it's possible this thing came from a river somewhere else, but I doubt it. It's also not a type of rock I've seen in our yard, but that doesn't mean much because I haven't checked every single rock in our yard. It could have rolled in from somewhere else. Maybe it's best if we just pretend it's a polished river rock. After all, it does look like one. I'm sure there are lots of them nearby. I'm not opposed to having a river rock in my laundry room. I just don't want it to be a stowaway. To be safe, I'm going to take this rock outside and throw it away. I'll probably put it near those other rocks by the clothesline, but I'm not taking any chances. I'm also going to set up a bug zapper outside, so if anything else decides to follow my cats in, it'll be killed in the process. My cats won't appreciate me doing this, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. I don't know what this rock is, but I'm willing to bet whatever it is, it's better off staying outside. Speaking of my cats, I should go check on them. Wonder what they're up to. Well, friends, that's all the time we have for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. If you want to see more nature videos, check out my channel. I have lots of videos on there that I think you'll enjoy. Well, it's time to go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.